What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks. I'm currently on vacation over on the west side of Washington visiting Katie's family, and so I wanted to bring you all a quick video showcasing a team that has been very successful for me in the Holiday Cup currently. I've been running Shadow Lapras and then Sableye and Venusaur. I've gained over 250 points since I've been running this team, so kind of wanted to showcase this, and in this video I'm going to be showing a lot of different matchups, a lot of different battles running this team, so hopefully you all can get kind of a general idea of how to play this team. Been having a lot of fun with it, so please excuse kind of the more stripped down setup here. I don't have nearly any of my normal recording or video equipment here since I'm on vacation for this week, but let's jump right into these battles. If you appreciate the content, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and let's jump into these battles. So this very quickly has become my favorite Holiday Cup team. Shadow Lapras has been working so well in the league. You can see paired up against an Altaria right there. Very solid response. And Sableye is a very solid response to an opposing Alolan Marowak. Sableye on the safe swap really has a lot of play in this meta. Pretty much the only thing that you're hard punished by is a Charmer, and since you're running Return on it, you're able to at least hit for a good amount of neutral damage. We'll see lots of scenarios where that will play out in this video here. But I went down a shield in that secondary matchup with Sableye just to guarantee that I can maintain switch advantage, and this Sableye is still able to get off a lot of damage on this Altaria. I go for the snipe down with my Lapras on the Altaria to deny all of that farmed energy, and there is a Litleo in the back, so this is pretty rough for my Venusaur in the back. But Lapras is going to be able to handle this Litleo no problem. I really like the pairing of Lapras and Venusaur. Venusaur is going to be able to beat opposing grass types and opposing fighters, so that pairing is really nice. This team comp is fairly similar to another team comp that's been floating around. I think House Stark 93's team comp of Shadow Lapras, Vigoroth, and Trevenant. This is just slightly different from that team comp, but I really like the way that Shadow Lapras and Venusaur pair up. Once again, my Sableye is against an opposing Alolan Marowak, and so this is pretty positive for me, but you do have to shield once just to guarantee that you can maintain positive alignment in this matchup, especially with the Altaria lead. So I'm going to shield twice here and try to commit to the farm down. I'm able to get to it. I know that they're just going to bring their Altaria back in and kind of sacrifice it since it's going to be dead weight against my Lapras, but they end up bringing in the Litleo. I'm going to go straight for the return here, and then I'm going to bring up my Venusaur just purely as a sacrifice here, trying to get any damage off on this Litleo that I can, because Venusaur against Altaria, not super great, and against Litleo, it's not great either. Gonna bring out my Lapras and be able to farm this thing down, and they know that the game is over. Very positive alignment in my favor. Okay, Venusaur lead. Now, Shadow Lapras especially, these ice shards are just absolutely chunking this Venusaur. And so in this matchup, you for sure need a shield because the Frenzy Plants are going to hit for a lot of damage. But these Surfs, despite being resisted, are going to hit for a lot of damage too. And I really want to be able to Ice Shard down this Venusaur before they get to another move. I'm able to do that. Out comes an Alolan Graveler. Now, I technically have two decent responses to this in the back, so I'm going to preserve my Lapras. I do not want to be farmed all the way down. Going to safe swap into my Sableye and immediately throw this Foul Play. They let that go through. I had a feeling that this was going to be a Stone Edge, but they actually baited me with Rock Blast. Really nice play, and now they have their own Sableye here. But my Venusaur is going to have play against their Sableye and their Alolan Graveler, so we're looking okay here. I know I'm going to be able to survive this Foul Play. By the way, you can see the IVs of my Pokemon on the screen there. I was finally able to fully build this XL Sableye, and my goodness, XL Sableye just really performs a lot better than normal Sableye. That extra bulk allowing you to get to more charge moves is really nice. Most likely going to get hit by a Stone Edge here, but that's alright. Venusaur is able to tank that, and then we're going to be able to Vine Whip down that Graveler there. Good game. Lapras into Alolan Raichu. Okay, kind of a surprising pick in this cup, but I have 2 responses to this in the back, so gonna swap the Sableye. Most likely gonna get hit by a Wild Charge, so a good shield there. And you're gonna see this in a lot of matchups where I hard lose the lead. Going into Sableye, I don't throw energy right away. I typically end up shielding whatever move they throw if they stay in with the lead and building up a lot of energy, because this gives you the most potential to flip switch advantage. If you have to go down a shield, you can kind of get around that disadvantage by ensuring that you have a lot of energy for the secondary matchup. So they bring out the Altaria, and instead of getting farmed down, I'm just going to bring out my Lapras. Because I got both of their shields down, this Lapras is now going to be pretty threatening to that Alolan Raichu. They bring out a Skarmory, and I'm really glad that my Venusaur doesn't have to see this. I just need to get to 2 Surfs here. But unfortunately, this Sky Attack is going to be able to take me out. I did preserve my Sableye, which is really good for me because I need it to be able to take out the Skarmory. But they bring out the Raichu, and then I'm going to be able to swap into my Venusaur. Now, the only way that I lose this is if the Skarmory farms down my Venusaur and then has a move ready for my Sableye. So you saw me stop attacking there because I want my Venusaur to be lower health, and my opponent is recognizing what I'm trying to do as well. If my Venusaur is too healthy, the Skarmory is going to get too much farm and be able to land a move on my Sableye. So I'm allowing them to hit me and get me lower. I'm now at the Frenzy. They're only going to get 2 Air Slashes here. This Frenzy is going to do a little bit of chip, and then I'm able to get into my Sableye and reach this foul play before they're able to get to a move there. Pretty tricky end game there, but we were able to pull off the win there. Good game. Lapras and Jellicent. This is one of the hardest possible counters that we could see, but we have 2 responses to this in the back. Now, they swapped in Venusaur onto my Sableye. I already have an energy advantage, and this is a IV dependent matchup anyways, because you get to return and Frenzy Plant, or you get to Foul Play and Frenzy Plant at the same pacing. So because of my energy advantage, I'm just going to win switch here. I don't even care that I have to go down 2 shields. If Venusaur is their best response to Sableye, Sableye is going to be able to put in a lot of work against their team. So let's see what they want to bring out. They bring out a Roserade, Poison Jab Roserade. So Sableye is just absolutely going to go off on this team here. Going to throw another Foul Play. And I do get a shield, so I'm going to immediately go back into my Lapras. And it is a Bubble Jellicent, so slightly better for me, but I'm just going to go straight Surf Spam here, do as much chip damage as possible. I preserved my Sableye, so I'll be able to get Shadow Claw damage on that Roserade in the late game. And now my Venusaur is going to be able to get a decent farm down against this Jellicent as well. So I'm looking pretty good here. Despite having to go into a 2 shield deficit early on in the game, once I saw the Venusaur come out against my Sableye, I knew that I could not only win switch advantage, but get shields back because of that energy. So just going straight for the Frenzy. I catch a move here on Sableye, which definitely was unnecessary, and now I actually gave them more farm. So kind of a mistake, but gonna be able to Vine Whip this down. This is gonna be a Weather Ball. It will hit for super effective damage, but we're able to tank it and win that game, despite being really hard countered in the lead there. Froslass leads. Okay, so technically this is decent for Lapras, but you kind of always have to go down a shield first, and they typically don't bait on the first move, so it's a fairly safe shield in the beginning. Now, I saw that this was a Charm Alolan Ninetales, so I saved the energy on my Lapras, and my opponent totally sacrifices their Charm A9, fine by me. The Venusaur Froslass matchup is actually not as bad for Venusaur as you would think. Once again, you have the same pacing with Froslass to the Avalanche as getting to the Frenzy Plant. And Frenzy Plant hits like a truck against the Froslass. I have a lot of energy stored up on my Lapras. They let the Froslass go down, and this is in fact Froslass Double Charm. So my Sableye has nowhere to go. I could have brought it out against the Froslass there. Going Gonna go for the Skull Bash here since I'm only gonna be able to get to one more move. And the Skull Bash takes out the Wigglytuff, and Lapras went on a tear against that team. Okay, Alolan Graveler, they are running Rock Throw, so that's actually worse for my Lapras. But they are staying in here, so I'm gonna put on some shield pressure. They do end up shielding, that's fine, and I get a Shadow Claw through, really good for me. So gonna shield this up. I know it's gonna be a Rock Blast, that's alright. But once again, they're continuing to stay in. So whatever they have in the back is weak to Sableye, and they want to guarantee that they're able to get my Lapras aligned with something that they want to control in the back. So I'm able to win switch advantage and take a shield advantage. Sableye on the safe swap there, just absolutely doing work. No matter what this is, have to shield this up. Probably going to be a Brave Bird, and then they're going to swap. And it's a Froslass in the back. Not good for me. Gonna get hit by a Shadow Ball here. And then I have 2 Surfs stored here. So I'm gonna throw one and then probably swap to my Venusaur right there. Put on as much Vine Whip damage as possible. And I need to be able to land a Surf on the Talonflame. So I'm gonna farm 2 more Ice Shards, and now I know that I'm 2 Ice Shards away from getting to another Surf. And the Talonflame, I believe, was either 2 or 3 Incinerates away, so we're going to be able to take out that Talonflame there. Good game, able to come back from that lead. Lapras into Froslass. Once again, kind of an awkward matchup because I typically end up shielding first. Now Froslass and then a Vigoroth comes out. This could be Froslass double counter. And if that's the case, that's really kind of a tough team comp. I bring out Venusaur here, but I have seen these team comps before where it is Froslass and then Vigoroth and then like Obstagoon in the back. And if that's the case, you technically should be going into Sableye against the Vigoroth here. But we'll have to see what this particular team has in the back. I'm able to get to this Frenzy Plant, which is amazing because I'm able to win switch and have a shield advantage. Let's see what they end up having in the back. I'm going to bring out the Sableye here because I was kind of getting the feeling that there might be a Obstagoon in the back, and if that's the case, I want a lot of stored energy for that Obstagoon. So I'm farming it as much as possible and then going to throw this Foul Play. Down goes the Froslass. It is Obstagoon in the back. So seeing this team now, if my opponent switches in a Vigoroth against my Lapras, potentially the best move there is just to go straight into the Sableye. But my opponent gets the boost. Really not great. And the cross chop, I barely survive, and I'm able to get to this Surf. And really tough. That's a very strong team, Froslass double counter. I've seen it a couple times now. Really strong. Okay, Dedenne, I think that's how you pronounce it, but not a good lead for me. So I'm going to swap into the Sableye, and they don't have a response. I know that this thing has access to Play Rough, so definitely have to respect that, but I do get baited with Discharge, so that's alright. The Shadow Claws are hitting for neutral, the Foul Plays are resisted, but this little electric mouse looking thing is pretty glassy, I know that much. You're going straight Discharge, and I'm very close to being able to get to another Foul Play here. So they do shield it up, and I'm able to get to another Foul Play, able to win switch advantage. Sableye just putting on a clinic, and out comes Superior. Totally fine by this. I throw Foul Play right away, hoping that they would CMP tie me here. But they actually farm up even more, so nice heads up play by them, and really good counting by my opponent. They have a lot of energy stored now. Venusaur is going to be a good response to this. We'll see if they're running Aerial Ace or not. And they are running Aerial Ace, but we're able to tank one. These Vine Whips are hardly doing any damage to me. I just want to get rid of this Superior. And then we'll see what they have in the back. A Sableye. Now, the CMP tie with Venusaur against Sableye is another one of those IV-dependent CMP ties, if I remember correctly. So that's why I banked the Frenzy and then swapped. just in case I wouldn't have been able to get that damage off. But now we're going to be able to take that game there. Good game. Okay, Whimsicott in the lead. These ice shards are absolutely chunking. This is another instance where having the Shadow Lapras is just so nice here. I believe I built my Shadow Lapras like last year around Holiday Cup time, and I want to get as much use out of this thing as possible. Because I ended up using an Elite TM to get Ice Shard and all that good stuff. So we win the lead, and then we've already done half damage to this Vigoroth. I'm going to bring out the Venusaur here, but we'll see what they end up having in the back. They led with Whimsicott, so I'm wondering if this is going to be a team that's like triple weak to Venusaur, because those do exist. I know I've gotten a lot of questions about people asking, why are you running Venusaur in Holiday Cup? There's so many fires and flyers and ice types. And the main reason is despite Venusaur kind of having a lot of those checks in this meta, it's still such a great Pokemon, and some people assume that they won't run into Venusaur because of all those checks in the meta, so then they run a team that's double or even sometimes triple weak to Venusaur. But Venusaur definitely can be hit or miss in this Holiday Cup meta, but sometimes it just has play against the whole team, especially if you see like any sort of like double charm teams. Definitely has a lot of play. Okay, Alolan Graveler. That Alolan Graveler was running Volt Switch, so there is a case to be made. If you see Alolan Graveler and it's running Volt Switch in the lead, you could stay in with the Lapras and throw a Surf first to try to burn a shield. But I just go straight in the Sableye, and they're staying in. I sneak another Shadow Claw through there. I know this is just going to be another Rock Blast, but I have to shield it and respect it, unfortunately. They bring out a Talonflame. I'm farming up to a lot of energy here. Gonna throw the Foul Play. And then we get some unfortunate lag, but I'm gonna throw another Foul Play. If I would have went Return on that first move, it would have taken out this Talonflame. But they let it go anyways. And I'm able to get off another Foul Play on this Alolan Graveler. And I've won Switch advantage. I'm just gonna go straight into my Venusaur here. I'm going to get hit by Stone Edge. I know it's going to do a lot of damage, but I want to put on the pressure against this Graveler. It is a Froslass in the back, and I was going to be able to land a Frenzy and then be able to farm it down with my Venusaur, so we had that game there. Okay, Lapras mirror match, but if you notice, my opponent starts half a turn late, or it starts one turn late. So I know that I'm going to be able to get to this Skull Bash first no matter what. In this mirror match, it is so risky to bait Surf. I typically just go straight for the Skull Bash and shield up whatever they throw. Now I'm going to farm up a lot here and then throw another Surf. When your Lapras can get boosted like this, it's just, I know it's going to do so much work, and I don't want to switch out to erase this defense boost that I have. So they bring out Vigoroth. I know I'm going to survive this Body Slam. I need to hopefully under tap to get this Surf off, but the game over taps me. I stopped tapping there, it didn't give me my energy, and then it over tapped an Ice Shard. So really not great. I'm down a shield, but I'm going to be able to get a nice farm with this Venusaur here, and then I'm going to catch a Body Slam onto my Sableye. Double resisted damage here, really good for me. In the back is a Trevenant. Now this is the team comp that I was talking about, that this team is pretty similar to. I believe it's the House Stark team of Shadow Lapras, Vigoroth, and Trevenant. And so I've run into this team a good amount of times already. It's becoming pretty popular. So I need to get both of these foul plays off, and then I pretty much have a move stored on my Venusaur, so probably going to go for the combo play here. And yes, I do have a Frenzy stored, and I know that the Vigoroth is low enough that we're going to be able to take it out and take this game there. Lapras did so much work in the lead there. Okay, Lanturn, really bad. Gonna safe swap out of this. And they bring out Abomasnow. So this is a neutral matchup. Anytime the opponent responds with a neutral matchup like this, where you already have an energy advantage with Sableye, you gotta fight for switch advantage if you're hard countered in the lead that much. So no matter what, I am totally fine going down 2 shields in this matchup if I have to guarantee that I can win swap. They went for Energy Ball there, which I was very surprised by. I could have potentially undercharged that a little bit to get a little bit more farm, but I just wanted to guarantee that I win that scenario. They bring out the Lanturn. I'm going straight for the return here, trying to do as much damage as possible, because I know that they're most likely just sacrificing this Lanturn, knowing that they lost switch advantage. But I know that they're going to have a hard counter to Venusaur in the back. It's a Froslass. I'm going to throw this Frenzy immediately and then try to catch an Avalanche on my Lapras. So I make a guess and I am incorrect. This is definitely going to be a Shadow Ball. But I snuck an Ice Shard through him, one Ice Shard away, able to get to this Surf. This might be barely enough to knock out that Lapras. It is. And out comes the Lanturn once again. I'm going to be able to get to this Surf, no problem. And able to come back from that really tough lead. Again, Sableye just doing so much work on the safe swap if your opponent does not have a Charmer. Diggersby in the lead. Pretty good for me. Out comes a Greedent. Kind of an awkward scenario for my team here. This was the first time that someone had safe swapped a Greedent against my line here. So I didn't know exactly how I wanted to play this out. I'm going to stay in with the Lapras here for a while because my Venusaur has play against that Diggersby. But this is tough. I will survive this Body Slam. I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to get to another Surf, but I'm just barely not able to get there. So I have lost switch advantage. Not great, but I have a shield advantage. I'm going to come in with Sableye and load up a bunch. I know that they already have that Diggersby, and they're probably going to bring the Diggersby out onto the Sableye. So all I can really do here is just load up as much as possible. I get a really nice farm down on the Greedent. I'm anticipating the Diggersby coming back in, and it does. Gonna go straight for the return here because I doubt that they shield. They do not. Now I'm going to swap into the Venusaur and see what they want to do. They're going to throw a move here first. We've seen Diggersby. We've seen Greedent. They have no response to a fighter so far. So I have no idea what they could have in the back. They're continuing to stay in here, so I'm going to throw the Frenzy here. I don't want to get hit by another Fire Punch. And they shield. So I have to shield this as well. I cannot get hit by another Fire Punch. What is in the back? It is another normal type. I believe it looks like a Vigoroth. It is, yep. So I'm immediately going to go back into my Sableye, get to this Foul Play. This should just be a Body Slam, and I'm able to survive that. There's no way that the Diggersby is going to be able to Mudshot me down. And I'll be able to get to another Foul Play if they try to do that. And I'm able to get there. So a triple normal team definitely took me by surprise, but we're able to take that game there. Good game. Lapras into Vigoroth. Okay, this is a tough lead, but I'm going to go into my Sableye, and my opponent responds with their own Sableye, and I believe I have a one Shadow Claw advantage. So once again, I need to fight for swap here, or try to get a shield advantage and set myself up for a farm down. At this point in time, I believe I just shield twice and commit to the farm down here and win switch advantage. So I'm down 2 shields. That's okay. They bring in the Vigoroth. They have to go for Bulldoze here if they want to take me out. I'm able to get to another Foul Play here. And I do get a shield there. I'm able to get to another Foul Play. So this Sableye is really putting in some work against the Vigoroth. And then they swap into Froslass, and I am way too slow to make a decision. So I just gave the Froslass all of that farm. I really thought I might have been able to get to a Foul Play on my Sableye, but I was too slow to not recognize that. Gonna go for the Surf. And then I need to force this Vigoroth to throw. So it does throw energy, thank goodness, because this thing was really loaded. I just need to get to a Frenzy with my Venusaur. Now, 2 Body Slams, Venusaur barely survives. So my opponent actually ends up going for a Bulldoze here. I think they thought that since they're only going to get to 2 moves, they needed a Bulldoze plus a Body Slam to potentially KO, because Bulldoze does barely more damage than Body Slam, but we're able to take that game. Okay, Trevenant in the lead. This is a matchup where I am totally willing to just double shield and try to farm down. It looked like my opponent started late there. It looks like they lagged in the opening as well, which is really unfortunate, but this allowed me to get even more Ice Shard damage, so I'm going to go down 2 shields. You've seen this a lot in these games so far. I go down 2 shields really early on, but I know that if I can get things aligned in my favor, I'm going to get the shields back and guarantee that I have the matchups that I want. So boom, there goes 1 shield. And I have 2 surfs stored. They let that one go through. I'm going to save that surf and swap into my Sableye. They have a Shadow Aerodactyl in the back. Also there, Alolan Graveler was running Rock Throw, so this is a double Rock Throw team here. I get the shield on that foul play, and they have to throw right here. Really good for me. I can just throw a surf with my Lapras, and then my Venusaur is going to be able to handle that Graveler, no problem. Even able to Ice Shard it down anyways. Shadow Lapras absolutely chunking that Trevenant in the opening. Okay, the mirror match once again. And it looks like my opponent once again starts a turn late. So because of that fact, this guarantees that I can get my Skull Bash off first. Plus, my Lapras has a 9 attack IV, so I'm typically able to win CMP in these mirror matchups. My opponent switches out. I know that their Lapras is low, and their Lapras is energy dry. I'm going to swap in my Venusaur here, because this time around, I learned my lesson, and I'm anticipating a Trevenant in the back. So I want to get my Venusaur out of the picture. They let that go. They still have 2 shields. It is, in fact, a Trevenant. I had a feeling I was only going to get to 1 move here, so I throw the Sludge Bomb. But looking back, I potentially would have been able to get to 2 Frenzies, maybe. But at this point, we're looking all right. I go into Sableye here. This Trevenant is actually very scary with all the loaded energy. I get hit by the big move. That is not great. And then I catch a Seed Bomb on my Lapras, which is actually a terrible play. And then they bring out their own Lapras. I have to farm up as much energy as possible here, but they panic and they throw Surf. Me and my opponent are both making a lot of misplays here. I'm able to farm that down because they did not commit to farming up energy for the Skull Bash. I throw a Surf immediately. And then at this point, I'm able to Ice Shard down. Pretty scary there at the end. Trevenant with 2 shields. Smart play by my opponent, saving both shields for that Trevenant. Froslass in the lead again. So again, I typically always shield this first move. It's pretty rare that your opponent baits that move, but it has happened to me before. Able to land the Surf. And I'm going to throw another Surf here. I'm wondering if my opponent is just fully sacrificing their Froslass. But at this point, I'm fully committed to, once again, double shielding and winning the lead. So I shield a Shadow Ball. Out comes a Talonflame. Holy cow. So I'm wondering if they're triple weak to Lapras. I get a shield there. And then unfortunate lag. I'm able to get another Surf off on this Talonflame. Shields are down. It's going to hit for a lot of damage. They barely survive, and then I'm able to snipe it down with the Sableye. I don't know whether or not their Froslass has a move stored. So, yes, they are extremely weak to Lapras. Potential misplay right here. I was really hoping that I'd be able to get to 2 foul plays, but I should have just committed to the return. They go Sky Attack. And I end up getting to the second foul play here, but if they went for the Moonblast, that might have been a different story. And then here, I know that my Venusaur survives 1 Sky Attack, so I brought out the Venusaur there to absorb the damage, but we're able to take that game there. Good game. Okay, non-Shadow Lapras in the mirror match. I'm assuming that this one probably has more optimized PvP IVs. So once again, that means my attack stat is most likely going to be higher than theirs, so I should be able to win these CMP ties. My opponent does respect the Skull Bash, So I will shield as well. Now, since I know that I'm going to win CMP, I'm getting the feeling that they might try to catch a Skull Bash on this next move, because that's definitely what I would do if I were in their scenario. So I tried to go for an extra Ice Shard there, but they denied my move. Really unfortunate. I deny their Ice Shard in return here, and I'm going to go for another Skull Bash. They let that through. I am fully invested in my Lapras here, though. I'm going to go for the Skull Bash. I'm now going to be triple buffed, and they let that through. What do they have against a triple buffed Lapras? They bring out a Wigglytuff. I cannot swap out of this. Definitely not, because if my Sableye sees this, that is going to be terrible. So I build up the Skull Bash energy, and then I throw the Surf. My opponent just totally let that go through. I was very surprised. I'm going to throw another Surf. They sack the Wigglytuff, and then they bring out Froslass. So I know that I survive whatever move this is. They go for the Shadow Ball. It is the heavier hitting move. They're trying to Powder Snow me down, but this is where XL Sableye is so clutch. I was able to survive that Shadow Ball, and I'm able to get to this foul play and take that game. Did not even need the Venusaur that game. Let me know in the comments if you are still watching this far into the video. This is a much longer video than I've done in a while, so let me know in the comments if you appreciate these longer format videos. Definitely takes me longer to make. Wigglytuff in the lead. Another scenario where obviously Venusaur is a hard counter to this, but Sableye is going to really struggle against this, so I have to stay in. But anytime I see a Charmer in the lead, I get very worried that Venusaur is going to be hard countered in the back. So I lose the lead. Really not good for me. Gonna bring out Venusaur. I don't get a Vine Whip through, unfortunate, but I have to respect the move here. It was just a play rough. It was just a play rough. They blind through play rough, so I could have no shielded that, but man, if that would have been an Ice Beam, that would have been really risky. So I'm gonna bring out my Sableye here, and I want to fully commit to the farm down on this Mantine. They go for Bubble Beam, totally fine by me. It is a wing attack Mantine. Even if this is Ice Beam, it does not KO me, and I know that my Sableye is going to be stuck against a Wigglytuff anyways. So I farm. Their Wigglytuff is very low. There's no way it's going to get to another move. They have an Alolan Graveler in the back running Volt Switch. They do get a Volt Switch through upon entry. I'm double debuffed here, but I'm going to throw another Foul Play. And at this point, Venusaur should be able to clutch this end game up pretty nicely. Able to get to another Foul Play here. And now I can just Vine Whip everything down. I sneak a Vine Whip through there as well, which is very good for me. I do get baited by Rock Blast. Nice play. This could only be another Rock Blast because I believe I only counted 5 Volt Switches. So, and then out comes a Wigglytuff, and then I have a move stored. So we're going to be able to take out that Graveler and win the game there. Charmer's in the lead. They can easily win the lead if they end up double shielding. This battle's up against Rise to Occasion, really talented battler and content creator on YouTube and Twitch. So Froslass in the lead once again. I'm going to play this the same way that I've been playing all of the other Froslass leads. Shield whatever this is, and then start chipping away. Now Froslass survives one Surf, so my opponents typically always let the first one through. So I have to throw another one and see what they want to do. I do get the second shield, and once again I had a feeling that there's no way this is an Avalanche, so we shielded up. Out comes Lanturn. Venusaur is such a devastating hard punish to Lanturn that whenever you're in this scenario, you really want to take advantage of this. Farm up to 100. I even try to undercharge this. I think I only do a nice. Yeah, but this was still too much damage. I wanted to get even more energy farmed up to really punish that scenario. Out comes the Froslass. I knew they weren't going to be able to get to another move, so I farmed that down. And in the back is a Diggersby. Should be able to land 2 Frenzy Plants on this. And Venusaur absolutely put in so much work against the backline of that team. So really tough alignment there. Whenever a Lanturn gets punished by Venusaur, unless you have a very, very hard counter to that Venusaur, it's just going to go off. It's just going to have so much play. Okay, Obstagoon in the lead. Really tough lead. So I have to go into Sableye. Hard punished by a Wigglytuff. Really bad for me. But if this is Obstagoon double charm, Venusaur sweeps the team. So they let the return go through. I've seen different variations of this, so I've seen Obstagoon and then a Charmer and then Talonflame in the back. There's no beating that team. But if it is Obstagoon Double Charm, Venusaur has some play here. I'm going to shield that up. And then I need to get some shields off of this Obstagoon. So I no shield this because if it is a... oh, I do end up shielding this. Okay. They actually went for the Night Slash. I'm going to throw both of these Surfs and then see what they want to do. I do get a shield right there because I did have Skull Bash energy, so they respected it. They let that one go through. I'm farming as much as I can here, but they are continuing to stay in, and they're building up a lot of energy, which is making me nervous that they might have Hyper Beam. But they're not swapping out. They have Gunk Shot. I'm able to survive it. What is in the back? At the last possible second, I look at the typings in the top right corner and see that it's a Whimsicott. Double super effective Sludge Bomb one-shots it, and I'm able to Vine Whip down the Obstagoon. Crazy, crazy game there. Good game. Out comes a Rock Throw Alolan Golem. And I had favorable lead with my Lapras there. Now, if my opponent shields right here, they could potentially win switch advantage, but they let it go through. Thank goodness. I'm anticipating the Altaria coming back in, and it does. Able to get to a last second Sludge Bomb here for some really nice chip damage against this Altaria. And Lapras is just going to shred this thing. I come in immediately because they're still locked in, so I want as much Ice Shard damage as possible. In the back is an Alolan Graveler, so Altaria, double Rock Boys. Gonna throw the Surf to get the shield and then go into my Sableye. And at this point, the game is pretty much over. Shield whatever this is. And very positive alignment in my favor there. Venusaur does a pretty good job at shutting down these rock users. And just need to get to 2 foul plays here. Lapras, as we know, really solid response to the Altaria. And as long as you are careful about your alignment and able to maintain switch advantage, you should be pretty good to go with those Altaria leads. Last battle of the video. Once again, if you appreciate these longer videos, make sure to let me know in the comments. My opponent swaps into a Greedent, and they led Alolan Marowak. So I'm wondering if this is like Alolan Marowak double normal. I'm going to bring out my Venusaur here because Venusaur is hard-walled by Alolan Marowak. I want to farm as much as possible and get hit by as much damage in this matchup as possible because I want to provide that Marowak with little farm and potentially being able to land a Frenzy on it. So I'm going to throw a Frenzy here. I know that the Greedent is going to be able to survive this, but I'm able to Vine Whip it down. I have a move loaded. Out comes the Marowak. I throw one Vine Whip and then throw for optimal move timing. And a little bit of chip damage there is nice. I have the Surf loaded, but they catch it on the Vigoroth, which I'm actually totally okay with because this chip damage is going to be pretty helpful for my Sableye now. This is going to put it in like foul play plus a lot of Shadow Claw farm down range. And both Sableye and Lapras have favorable matchups against that Alolan Marowak. So at this point, I just let this go through. They do land the Bulldoze, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be able to Shadow Claw down and get to 2 moves. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Best of luck with your Holiday Cup battles, and I'll see you all in the next video.